Good morning, everyone, and welcome to First Take. Carrie Champion here with Skip Bayless, and Stephen A. Smith is in Philly. Stephen A., how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
I am doing wonderfully because I cannot wait to talk about these first two topics.
All right, well, then let's get right to it.
Whoa. Don't lie to America like that.
About what?
It's not about two topics. It's about the 2 hours.
Yes.
Don't limit our success to two topics.
I'm obsessed with the first two topics.
I really do.
Wait a second.
I really do.
Where are your glasses today? You cannot see clearly right now.
I like him without his glasses today.
Well, I like the look.
I must confess to you, I forgot it at my house, and it's too damn hot to wear a tie. I ain't gonna lie.
No, he has a youthful look to him
he
today.
does.
He cut his hair, looks good. You look good.
I do. Skip.
How do you know he cut his hair?
I can tell.
Thank you so much.
I can tell. You got a haircut, right, Stephen A.?
Yes. After watching you and Eva Longoria talk about my haircut, yes, I did. Go ahead, get a haircut, Carrie Champion.
Eva
Longoria said I needed a haircut. I got it for her.
Hey, Eva. Thanks for watching.
Now, on to business.
Coming up on the show today, he surprised the league with his skill set and nearly broke the internet with his one-handed catch. We're talking about Odell Beckham Jr. He's here on behalf of EA Sports. He will join the desk in the second hour. I'm excited to meet him. Oh, stop it, Stephen A. Well, let's get to the topic, okay? First topic, Ted Wells has responded to critics and claims that his report on the Deflategate investigation appeared biased and incomplete. Mr. Wells said the idea that there was some type of hit on the most popular player in the league just doesn't make sense. Here's Ted Wells on wanting to see Tom Brady's text messages.
I want to be crystal clear. I told Mr. Brady and his agents I was willing not to take possession of the phone. I said, I don't want to see any private information. I said, you keep the phone. You, the agent, Mr. Yee, you can look at the phone. You give me documents that are responsive to this investigation, and I will take your word that you have given me what's responsive. And they still refused.
There was a lot to get through. Let's also tell you about what he said about Jim McNally, also known as the deflator in the investigation.
NFL security people talked to McNally on 3 occasions. They've talked to him on the night of the game for approximately 40 minutes. They talked to him the next morning for by telephone for about 20 minutes. They talked to him in person, I believe the next day, for about 30 minutes. Those are the 3 interviews. The Patriots urged me when I got into the case to start fresh, not to pay any attention to what NFL security had done. In fact, they thought the people at NFL security were biased. They applauded when I said I'm starting fresh. And for them later on to say I could not even have a second interview of the most important person in the case was just a lack of cooperation.
All right, so Skip Bayless, what do you think of Ted Wells defending his report?
Stephen A. Smith, I must admit to you, I was astounded that a man of Ted Wells' stature felt that he needed to publicly defend himself in a conference call to reporters. I thought it indicated some weakness on his part. I thought it was a sign of insecurity on his part and uncertainty on his part. I thought that he really let Tom Brady's agent, Don Yee, get under his skin. Don Yee really hit a nerve deeply in Ted Wells, and I would say that has got to be advantage Tom Brady in what is about to escalate into quite a conflict here that could wind up in court. Again, a man of Ted Wells' stature, if he truly believes in the report that he headed, if he truly believes in the objectivity in his overseeing of that report, he should let that report stand on its own merit. He should let that report speak for itself. But again, the facts are the facts that Ted Wells and his very powerful law firm have benefited greatly and financially over the years from its relationship and his relationship with the National Football League. Obviously, Ted Wells and that firm have represented the NFL on many of the concussion lawsuits. It represented the NFL as it did the investigation of the bullying case with the Miami Dolphins. And reportedly, Ted Wells and his firm were paid up to $5 million, somewhere between $4 and $5 million for the investigation of the Patriots. And for that much money, the conclusion he drew was it's more probable than not that Tom Brady had general knowledge that the footballs were being deflated. It's a pretty flimsy conclusion for up to $5 million. And despite all the audio we just heard, the key audio for me was the glaring discrepancy in the Wells report that Ted Wells would not address yesterday. He handed off to his partner and let him try to explain about which gauge the referee Walt Coleman used before the game to measure the footballs. There's a big discrepancy. There were two gauges, and Walt Coleman said he couldn't remember which gauge he used before the game. Two gauges were then used at halftime to measure the footballs, and one of those gauges on the PSI said that the balls were legal. So what's what here? And Ted Wells really had no explanation because his partner was very vague in his responses to a question I thought Ted Wells should have answered. So in the end, I'm shocked that Ted Wells thought he needed to defend himself, which indicates that he might have some doubt here about what was involved in the conclusion of the Wells report.
Well, I'm shocked that somebody like yourself, who works for a living defending every position that he takes, doesn't understand how somebody else can feel compelled to do the same on their own behalf when they believe their professional and personal integrity are being attacked. I have no problem with Ted Wells deciding to elaborate extensively on his position, what transpired during the investigation, etc. As I think about what Don Yee, Tom Brady's agent, has said about Ted Wells in the past, one of the sentences that I looked up, Skip Bayless, to really highlight something that could have potentially perturbed Ted Wells and provoked him to feel the need to address reporters in a teleconference was this sentence right here, when Don Yee says something along the lines, this suggests it may be more probable than not that the league cooperated with the Colts in perpetrating a sting operation. Then he goes on to say the Wells report buries a particular issue or a footnote on page 46 without any further elaboration. The league is a significant client of the investigators' law firm. It appears to be a rich source of billings and media exposure based on content in the law firm's website. So you say something like that, you're attacking this man's professional integrity, along with that of the reputation of his law firm. If you know that you've been on the up and up and you've gone about the business of conducting this investigation in an appropriate fashion, you damn right you should stand up and address it on a personal level and take heed to that kind of stuff that's being spewed about you and respond in kind. And that's what Ted Wells did. I have no problem with it. To me, what resonates profoundly is how he talked about looking at Tom Brady's emails and text messages and saying or requesting to look at it and then being debunked. He pointed out how he'll take your word for it. Just show him stuff completely relevant to the case at hand. He said, I'm not going to take the phone with me. I'm not asking to take it in my possession. A matter of fact, I'm not even asking to look through your phones. Simply show me the text messages from your phone or show me the emails that you have related to this incident in question so we can conclude our investigation. And still, he was denied that request. That resonates profoundly to me. And if I remember correctly, just a few days ago, it resonated profoundly with you because you were on the record, Skip Bayless, saying you don't understand. If Tom Brady's innocent, why couldn't he do something like this? Why couldn't he grant this request? You were on the record sitting there saying that as much as you want to support Tom Brady, in this particular instance, this Wells report definitely indicts him and it definitely makes him look guilty. It was you that used the report to supplement some of the skepticism that you already had based on Tom Brady's press conference a few months ago, Super Bowl week, or the week before Super Bowl week, and all of this other stuff. So to me, I don't understand how we can't comprehend not only Wells' position, but why he would feel the need to literally piggyback off of it and substantiate his claims yet again. And my last point is this. When you talk about probably aware, probably guilty, etc., well, according to NFL bylaws, That's all you need. You don't need to venture beyond that to make a case against this individual, even if it does happen to be Tom Brady. This is not the court of law. This is the court of the National Football League. Just like the military has its own code of conduct, and it comes to its conclusion based on a preponderance of evidence it deems fitting and suitable for what they do, the NFL has their own rules as well. And this is how they've conducted this, and this is how they're going about it. I have no problem with it whatsoever.
Okay, allow me to defend myself against your last accusation. The morning after the Wells report broke, again, I was a prisoner only of reading the Wells report, and I was the first to admit to you, I went first that day, and I said, this report contains pretty convincing circumstantial evidence. I said there is no smoking gun. There's no direct link that Tom Brady told this guy to do this to the footballs. There's none of that in there. But it's all what we know about the text messages. We know about the nickname, the deflator. We know that Tom Brady said, no, you can't have my phone, though you said you would not allow anybody to have your phone either. That's what you said. I said you can have my phone anytime. You can have after the show, I'll give you my phone. You can look through every text message. I don't care. That's just me personally. But again, Tom Brady said no, and you said you're okay with that. Go ahead.
Oh, I said I was okay with him not giving the phone. I did not say I was okay with him not showing the text messages or the emails, particularly pertaining to the issue in question.
But
I'm not going to hand you my phone and give anybody.
You said you told Brady's attorney, sift through it and just show us the relevant. Well, that's ridiculous. It's either give the phone up or don't give the phone up.
Well, no, that's not ridiculous. In an investigation, if Ted Wells is on the record saying, I'm not leaving your site, nor am I leaving this room with your cell phone, I'm just asking you to show me the text messages pertinent to the issue.
Well, how could you trust he's showing you the right text messages? How could you trust that? That would be silly.
But Ted Wells, see, Skip, I can't do this with you. Ted Wells said, I will take your word for it.
Okay.
Just show me something. That's what he said.
Okay.
So that's what we have to go by.
What if Tom Brady said there is nothing? Because he continues to tell, as I told you, his confidants he is utterly innocent here.
But Ted Wells said, they said no. He didn't say I have nothing to show you. He said no, he refused to show him anything. There's a difference.
Okay,
There's a difference between saying I don't have any text messages as opposed to saying no, you cannot see it in my cell phone or my email. Here's what I don't know whether
to trust or not. Don Yee continues to say that much of Brady's testimony directly to Ted Wells didn't show up in the report. So I don't know, which is why we're about to get into where is this headed? Is it headed to court? So to finish up on Ted Wells, he continued to say this is a ridiculous accusation. This one and this one, these are all ridiculous. If they're that ridiculous, you should not give them any weight, any credibility by responding to them in public. Stephen A., I think that Roger Goodell sat back yesterday and said, what is he doing? Because it makes him look weak. You don't need to respond to that. But just let your report speak for itself.
In fairness to you, Skip Bayless, it's not that he's wrong. It's that he's not you. He doesn't think like you because you are quick to remind us all on Twitter and beyond. Don't respond. Don't hit send. Ignore everybody because that's what you do. So let's understand that you don't necessarily have a problem with him. You have a problem with that methodology because inherently you are completely opposed to it. You're not telling Ted Wells anything different than you'd say to any of us.
That's correct.
Because you firmly believe, universally, we should never respond. And obviously, I feel different. Sometimes I think most of the time I think you should respond. Sometimes I think it's okay to cuss somebody out. That's the difference between us.
Well, look, if you, I don't know, the example, if we step out of bounds on this show and you feel like you need to explain why you said what you said, I get that. That's fine with me. This is a report that took months, wasn't it? Yeah, months to assemble. And it's how many pages? I forget what it's 243 pages. You had plenty of time to stand behind every word you wrote. So let them speak, let them stand.
But he's not just talking. He's not talking about just the words. His personal integrity is being challenged.
All right, let's move
That's
on.
what he's addressing.
Yep.
Wells also added that he was specifically addressing Don Yee's accusations. That's why he wanted to talk about it. Tom Brady has until 5 Eastern Time Thursday to appeal his suspension. Once Brady files the appeal, the NFL will have 1 week to appoint an arbiter to hear the case. Our Adam Schefter on the appeal.
Your sources on that phone say they can win the appeal.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I got a text today, and I'll just read you the text, okay? It came from somebody that's connected in some way, okay?
To the story.
To the story. And the text came and says, Brady's team is unreal, I guess.
What's that mean?
And that was my text back. Unreal in what sense? Unreal in what sense? And they said, talented, big-name lawyers, Yee, Kessler, etc. Prediction equals won't miss a game. Look, there are people that believe that Tom Brady will have a legitimate chance to have his suspension reduced, if not overturned.
Right, Adam Schefter's sources saying that Tom Brady may get his suspension reduced, if not overturned. Skip, what's your reaction to what Schefter had to say?
Okay, first of all, to leap off what you were talking about in our previous topic, many people have leaped to the conclusion, because Tom Brady has not once publicly defended himself, that he is guilty of cheating. He has now become the object of national ridicule because he has not publicly defended himself. So, as I continue to talk to people close to Brady over the last 2 or 3 days, it came clear to me, as I've said in the last couple of days on this show, Tom Brady privately is telling all of his confidants he is 100% innocent and that he was wrongly convicted. And as I told you yesterday, he and his team are ready to go to legal war to prove his innocence here. So, again, he's not fighting back publicly, but he is going to fight Roger Goodell privately the way he fought the Seattle Seahawks in the 4th quarter of that last Super Bowl in which he was the MVP. You know how Brady fights on a football field? You're about to see him and his team, his superstar team, as the text said, fight back like you've never seen any player fight Roger Goodell to the end here. So, again, I'm starting to lean toward what the text said to Adam Schefter about he will not miss a game. I'm starting to lean in that direction, Stephen A., because, again, Roger Goodell has the option to pick whichever arbiter he wants. And if he picks Harold Henderson, a league man who's presided over the last few, the Adrian Peterson, now over Greg Hardy, maybe Tom Brady will lose on appeal. But that will just be the beginning of this fight, because it is going to go to court. And trust me on this, the one man who might have the most to lose in court is the commissioner of the National Football League, who has gained back such credibility over the last week or so for coming down so hard on those New England Patriots. Roger Goodell could lose a lot of that credibility if it's proven in court that the Wells report is wrong. And now we have a new player in the mix. We have Jeffrey Kessler, and I know you know who he is, Stephen A., because he has long been a thorn in the National Football League side, dating all the way back to that Freeman McNeil antitrust lawsuit that set up free agency in the National Football League. Jeffrey Kessler is brilliant, and he is unyielding. He can be just a pain in the behind is what he can be, but you want him on your team in this kind of matter. I think he will shred the Wells report. I don't think it will stand up in court, which is why I want to hear what starts to come out, because, again, convincing circumstantial evidence in the Wells report, no smoking gun. I want a conclusion. I want to hear what comes out in court, and I think we'll hear from Tom Brady before this is done, and maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe you'll think he's innocent.
I sincerely doubt that, but I will tell you this. Jeffrey Kessler is obviously formidable. He is somebody that historically has been a guy representing players not just in the National Football League, but in the National Basketball Association, going up against the leagues and what have you. When you look at a bevy of collective bargaining agreements that have been reached, clearly he wasn't that formidable, because no matter how competent or gifted he may be, these lawyers, these particular lawyers that represent these professional leagues on the other side, they're pretty damn competent themselves, not to mention the fact they're incredibly familiar with Mr. Kessler. He certainly gets paid well for doing what he does because he's ingratiated himself with players' associations in a variety of leagues, so his services are continuously utilized. How effective he may be is open for debate. Not to disrespect him because I know he's very good, but I'm just saying, in terms of the record itself, let's not get carried away. The second point that I'd like to make is this. There is a difference between proving that you're innocent and proving that the league itself didn't have enough evidence to levy the penalty against you that they levied. In other words, Tom Brady, with his team of hotshot lawyers, may get this suspension reduced. Ultimately, it can be such an ugly legal fight that the NFL could potentially concede, who knows, and just say, all right, the hell with it. Because ultimately, mission is accomplished. Attention was brought to bear that these kind of actions can't be tolerated. The New England Patriots as an organization have suffered a consequence. Tom Brady has suffered a consequence on a personal level because now half the world loving football views him as somebody who tried to skirt the rules in order to gain a competitive advantage. No matter what transpires in the court, unless you flat out prove that Tom Brady was lied on and he is completely innocent and completely exonerated to the point where the McNallys of the world and others come forth and like, we lied and it never happened and we really did this for Jimmy Garoppolo and not Tom Brady. We really did this because Bill Belichick told us to and not Tom Brady. We really did this because Robert Kraft orders us to and not Tom Brady. Unless something like that happens, I don't understand how in any way imaginable Tom Brady can be completely exonerated of this. He is the quarterback. The deflated footballs benefit him more than they do anybody else. I was on the record, Skip, and still am on the record. I've always thought it's much ado about nothing. I don't give a damn if he threw a Nerf football. Didn't stop those dudes from getting open. Didn't stop it from hitting them while they were open. Didn't stop him from registering the points that he registered. He's still a 4-time Super Bowl champion, a future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest players of our generation. I've got no issues with it. But I did not play in the NFL. Other dudes did. I spoke to Shannon Sharp. I spoke to Chris Carter, interviewed him yesterday, interviewed Shannon Sharp last week. We've heard other NFL aficionados, commentators, pundits speak against Tom Brady. They played in the NFL. And in the end, they are telling you, even Jeff Saturday came on and told me yesterday, it's no way that the quarterback didn't know. And Tom Brady said, I don't know what y'all talking about. No, it had nothing to do with me. That's where it's indictable. So on that level, there's no way he's going to be completely exonerated. Could he end up playing every game? Sure. I doubt it. I think at least 2 of the 4 games will be upheld, possibly all 4. But even if he doesn't play, even if he's not suspended for any game, Skip Bayless, the damage has already been done.
Okay, there I agree with you. Just in public perception, the many, many people out there who don't like Tom Brady and didn't like him before have leaped to the conclusion that will never be erased that he cheated. No matter what they hear about what comes out in court, he's a cheater. So the stain is the stain and it's indelible. I give you that much. I also want to make a quick point to you. You should stand back and think about this. You keep pointing to the quarterback. He had to know because he benefited the most. I'm not sure I agree with that. If you want to make a case for who benefits most from deflated footballs, I think the whole offense does because of fumbling or lack thereof. The easiest thing to do with the deflated football is to hold on to it. You can grip it better, which is why the Patriots have been known, and again, I'm not saying it's because they were deflated, but the Patriots have been known for not fumbling. That's been their mantra. That's been their calling card. So you can make that case. And that could go more to the head coach than to the quarterback. Just making that point.
Well, I get for you.
That's a valid point, but it's still the quarterback who touches the ball more than anybody, which means it's impossible to imagine that he didn't know. And by the way, my last comment, let's stop acting like it's just Patriot haters out there. Tom Brady has a lot of guys at this very network and various other networks. He has a lot of people in public who are not Patriot lovers, nor are they haters, who literally revere him because of his greatness, who have sat back and said, there's just no way he didn't know anything. Okay. There's just no way. So it's not all about the Patriot haters.
Last quick point, which you did not address. The key point here going forward is going to be this referee point about which gauge did he use. And again, it's very complicated to talk about it, so we don't need to try to delve into it because it's almost, it boggles the mind.
Yeah, it's too much.
But trust me, that's the glaring discrepancy that they are going to home in on in a potential lawsuit.
Okay.
That's fair.
Well, Stephen A., you point out that there are people, not just Patriot haters, who do not believe Tom Brady. They said he had to know something about it. Obviously, Ted Wells defending the report. Top of the second hour, we'll address this subject again. Before we go to break, though, folks, let's talk about one LeBron James, best player in the world. Cavs now lead the series, but I don't know if the series is over. The gentlemen will weigh in right after the break. First Take just getting started. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back.
Just ride to it.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to First Take. Kerry Champion here with Skip Bayless, and Stephen A. Smith is in Philly. Stephen A., how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
I am doing wonderfully because I cannot wait to talk about these first two topics.
All right, well, then let's get right to it.
Whoa. Don't lie to America like that.
About what?
It's not about two topics. It's about the 2 hours.
Yes.
Don't limit our success to two topics.
I'm obsessed with the first two topics.
I really do.
Wait a second.
I really do.
Where are your glasses today? You cannot see clearly right now.
I like him without his glasses today.
Well, I like the look.
I must confess to you, I forgot it at my house, and it's too damn hot to wear a tie. I ain't gonna lie.
No, he has a youthful look to him
he
today.
does.
He cut his hair, looks good. You look good.
I do. Skip.
How do you know he cut his hair?
I can tell.
Thank you so much.
I can tell. You got a haircut, right, Stephen A.?
Yes. After watching you and Eva Longoria talk about my haircut, yes, I did. Go ahead, get a haircut, Kerry Champion.
Eva
Longoria said I needed a haircut. I got it for her.
Hey, Eva. Thanks for watching.
Now, on to business.
The night of the game for approximately 40 minutes. They talked to him the next morning by telephone for about 20 minutes. They talked to him in person, I believe, the next day for about 30 minutes. Those are the three interviews. The Patriots urged me when I got into the case to start fresh, not to pay any attention to what NFL security had done. In fact, they thought the people at NFL security were biased. They applauded when I said I'm starting fresh. And for them later on to say I could not even have a second interview of the most...
Coming up on the show today, he surprised the league with his skill set and nearly broke the internet with his one-handed catch. We're talking about Odell Beckham Jr. He's here on behalf of EA Sports. He will join the desk in the second hour. I'm excited to meet him. Oh, stop it, Stephen A. Well, let's get to the topic, okay? First topic, Ted Wells has responded to critics and claims that his report on the Deflategate investigation appeared biased and incomplete. Mr. Wells said the idea that there was some type of hit on the most popular player in the league just doesn't make sense. Here's Ted Wells on wanting to see Tom Brady's text messages.
I want to be crystal clear. I told Mr. Brady and his agents I was willing not to take possession of the phone. I said, I don't want to see any private information. I said, you keep the phone. You, the agent, Mr. Yee, you can look at the phone. You give me documents that are responsive to this investigation, and I will take your word that you have given me what's responsive. And they still refused.
There was a lot to get through. Let's also tell you about what he said about Jim McNally, also known as the deflator in the investigation.
NFL security people talked to McNally on 3 occasions. They've talked to him on the